Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Because today we're going to be resuming our little quest line for Yunli. Previously on our last stream, we actually did the all endings of the March 7th sword training event, which means all that's left is to do the companion mission for Yunli, which we accidentally started during the ending of that. So, editor me, insert the start of that quest line right here.
Ever since March started learning swordplay from Yancheng and Yunli, her voice has been absent on the Express. I wonder how well she's progressing. Where has she been these days?
Here we go. The emoji fight. Have you seen March 7th? She didn't turn up for practice. Why don't you just send a message to her? Who's March 7th? I plan to go look for her. I was just planning to go look for her. Frankly, I haven't seen her around either. Oh. If you can't find March 7th, then I can only seek her out. I can only seek out her legal guardian, which is you. I'm not her legal guardian. First off, definitely not March's legal guardian. You can look for Mr. Yang or Miss Himiko. If they're not there, you can find Don Hung. Too many names, can't remember. I was ordered to instruct her in the ways of the sword. She can skip class, but I can't skip my duty. You need to talk about this, your child's behavior, Can. She's not my child. How about this? You can find me in Aurum Alley. I'll wait for you. Swords to Plowshares. Let's get the Magic the Gathering on the way. And that's it for this recording. See you all in the future. Now that you're back in the present, let's just resume the story as proper.
There you are. I was looking around before you got here. I already looked everywhere, but March 7th is nowhere to be found.
Where could she be? So no need to keep looking for March 7th? Maybe March 7th is actually...
Get it. Let's just assume she successfully skipped class. Actually, she's been quite diligent in her swordplay practice and hasn't taken many breaks lately. I think she deserves a day off.
Maybe she was kidnapped, though.
Besides, I used to skip classes even more than her back when I was still learning. If I was in the mood, I could train for 3 days straight. But if I wasn't in the mood, none of my seniors could find me. So
Okay.
I can understand where she's coming from.
So then can I go back? Looks like she learned it from her master.
Don't make excuses for her.
That's not an
Since you're
excuse.
here, let me treat you to some tasty food.
Alright. I can't say no to food. In fact, this stream is delayed for so long that I'm probably going to have to leave to do dinner later. I didn't mention this in the intro, but I believe by the time this stream is over, I believe the live stream will have started for the 5.0 in Genshin Impact. So if you want me to take a look at some of the trailers that they dropped during that at the end, maybe we'll do that.
I'm more interested in you today.
Me? Let me be clear, I am not learning swordplay. Interested in what?
Let's walk and talk.
I actually am interested in swordplay. Oh,
Lucia
there she
told me
goes.
There's tasty food in Aurum Alley. Let's go there.
We're already there.
Dumplings and steamed buns. The buns are huge.
Spices
Table
supreme.
for two, please.
All right, come on in. What would you like?
Well, we'll have one of everything on the menu.
How big is the menu?
The entire menu?
Do you think it'll be enough?
She's worried we won't be able to finish it all.
Oh, don't worry. There are two of us.
That doesn't restore my confidence. I can only eat like maybe 3,600 calories a day. Yunli looks at you confidently.
Well, then I'll start making a few dishes, and if you need more, just let me know.
Thank you.
Big eater, I guess. Do you usually eat a lot?
Yeah. I mean, not too much, actually. Grandpa said to never be stingy when it comes to making friends. So, how big is your appetite?
I don't eat much. My stomach is a bottomless pit. Most people would say 3,600 calories a day is a lot. It's like, what, 1,000 or so more than the average? Yeah, you know what, now that I think about it, I could probably break 4K if I tried.
No, I've thought about it. She deserves a day off.
Did you just say you're interested in me?
To be more precise, I'm interested in your sword.
The hat, the spear, or the bat?
Yanqing mentioned you before. He said that you're not to be underestimated, and that your weapon has a unique shape.
It's a bat.
So, I've always been curious about your sword. How the weight is distributed, what material it's made of, whether it contains any special ingenia, and what kind of sword techniques you use.
We use bonk. It's not a sword, it's a baseball bat.
Seriously? A bat?
Are you still curious?
Yeah, now more than ever.
You place your beloved bat, your most trusted companion, perhaps second only to the likes of March 7th, Don Hung, Welt, Himiko, and Pom Pom before Yunli's case.
So, it really is a baseball bat.
I still don't know exactly what this thing is made out of.
Grandpa said that a sword doesn't have to be constrained by its shape. So, in a sense, your bat is a sword too.
So is my steel water bottle.
Mimics its master. So, your bat actually reflects your habits in nature, you know?
It's not mine, we just kind of picked it up. Found it, I think. It was just in the room where the Stellaron was, right?
Let me guess. You're someone who doesn't follow the rules, enjoys improvising, and can handle yourself well against tough foes. Am I right?
Have you been secretly filming me? Oh, you're mistaken. I always follow the rules. Have you secretly been filming me?
Amazing, right? And I bet you always say something silly like, rules are made to be broken. I've come across so many
Damn, she knows us so well.
acted all righteous and moral, but were really just liars. Their swords always told the truth, though. They told me that their wielders were just a bunch of frauds who relied on their divine weapons for everything. I've hunted down hundreds of swords like this so far, and every single one of them has been melted down.
You take people's swords and by force and melt them down? What if you make a mistake?
Swords are more honest than words. It's much easier to judge a sword than to judge someone's words. So I rarely make mistakes.
Cool, but what about judging a sword's words?
But just looking at a sword is not enough. Grandpa always says, words and expressions can be deceiving, but in a fight to the death, a sword's movements never lie. The war dance is just around the corner. You'll be participating, right?
When is the war dance? I know that we technically go back in time, I guess, to when this takes place. I've mentioned the Fates Atlas before, and I love that it's a feature, but I kind of wish that they would put everything on the Fates Atlas in chronological order. Because, like, March's event technically takes place halfway in the middle of the quest line for the 2.4. And technically this takes place halfway in the middle of March's training, so it's like really weird chronologically when a lot of these take place now. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I had about Genshin, and I'm kind of annoyed to see that it's happening here now.
Miss Yunli, for talented sword masters like you, the war dance is a perfect opportunity to show off your skills and make a name for yourself.
Whose voice is that?
But for people like her who have already made significant
It's
contributions to the Xianzhou, they maybe don't need to prove themselves on the war dance stage. It has been a while, Miss Nameless.
You're from the Realm Keeping Commission, right? From, I believe it was Locha's character story?
And you are?
Oh, this is Madame Yukong's secretary. Right. From the Skyfaring Commission.
Thank you for your introduction, Miss Nameless. I'm Shi Kuei, and I work in the Palace of Astrum as the secretary for the Helmmaster. I apologize for interrupting your conversation.
Who's the guy next to
I
you?
happened to hear you discussing the war dance. And since this person is an old acquaintance, I thought I'd come and say hello.
Are you hosting any guests, Miss Shigui?
Yes, with the war dance approaching, many guests from afar are pouring in. Mr. Pavo here is one of them. He's from the distant planet Kalevala.
Kalevala.
Mr. Pavo's planet recently joined the Pan-Cosmic Trade System. He brought his delegation here this time, not only for business, but also to return something that belongs to the Xianzhou.
What could he possibly have that belongs to the Xianzhou?
Miss Shikui, the word gift is perhaps more fitting than return. While it did once belong to the Xianzhou, we faced many tribulations to be able to deliver it here, so it should be considered a gift.
I apologize for my poor choice of words. Mr. Pavo's delegation brought a legendary Xianzhou sword that had been lost for centuries.
Interesting.
General Huayan plans to personally thank them at the Palace of Astrum and present the sword as a prize to the champion of the war dance.
Oh, that was
Pavo
the
and I
sword.
were actually on our way there.
So that was the sword we saw during the Trailblaze continuance.
Since you two were talking so enthusiastically about the war dance, maybe you'd be interested in joining us at the Palace of Astrum?
So this sword is going to be really important in the lore. Optional, talk to Pavo.
Nice to meet you both. The journey to the Xianzhou Lafu wasn't an easy one, but the scenery here is worth it. It's completely different from my homeland. Once the formalities at the Palace of Astrum are finished, I'll find a quiet spot on this street and plant a seedling. And then my mission will be complete.
Okay. My work schedule just came in for next week. That's what I'm reviewing.
The Sword of Heroes will finally be returned to its rightful owners. I couldn't be happier.
I like your suit. Let's talk about Kalevala.
Oh, you're interested in my home planet? That's great. Your Excellency is welcome to visit us at any time. Even though the trade route just opened, it still might take around 200 system hours to get there from Pier Point. But our planet is really great.
200 system hours. That's pretty close if you think about it, relatively speaking. If like a system hour is meant to be equivalent to like what a system hour is to us.
Sure, it's a bit cold and the food is a bit repetitive and our houses aren't as fancy as those on Pier Point, but that doesn't matter. We've discovered massive supernium deposits, and we're on the path to prosperity.
Let's talk about the sword.
Oh, you mean the Mieka Kivesa?
Mieka Kivesa.
Incredible sword. That weapon helped the legendary heroes of my homeland slay demons, and is highly revered.
Okay.
It also has the power to choose monarchs. All the ancient kings of Kalevala received a sign from the sword, showing they were worthy to rule the land. According to tradition, each monarch would plunge the sword into a stone, and only a hero recognized by the sword could pull it out and ascend to the throne next.
Interesting. Is it some sort of biometric technology?
Well, those are just legends from the past. No one today has witnessed it firsthand.
Why wouldn't you keep the swords for yourselves?
Well, times have changed, and now that we have a council in place, the idea of a sword crowning a king has become a joke. Besides, it wasn't a native of Kalevala who last pulled out the sword and recognized its connection to the Xianzhou ship. It was a visitor from afar.
Ooh, I wonder who that was.
While the sword holds great historical significance for Kalevala, it doesn't truly belong to our world. The old-timers on council had a heated debate about whether to return the sword. They eventually unanimously agreed to let the Mieka Kivesa return to where it truly belongs.
On the Xianzhou Lafu?
That's the best possible outcome.
Or just like any Xianzhou ship?
Wonderful. It's an honor to have so many people witness the sword's homecoming.
Oh, wait. Technically, if March 7th has started training, wouldn't the sword have already been returned at this point? Or is this just another sword?
General Huayan will hold the sword gifting ceremony at the Palace of Astrum soon. Are you interested?
Yes, very.
Let's head to the Palace of Astrum together.
I'm not interested in the sword, to be honest. I'd love to take a look at the sword, too.
Right? Thanks to March 7th skipping class, we get to join in on the fun.
What are the odds that she's actually there looking at the sword?
Grandpa always asks me to go look at swords with him. He hasn't said anything about this one. It's really weird. But now that we're invited, let's go and check it out.
Alright, Palace of Astrum. I can't remember the last time I've been to the Palace of Astrum. No, wait, yeah, I can. I can remember. I think we were there when we met General Huayan. And I think I commented on, hey, how come Yukong isn't here? Isn't she the Helm Master? Little did we know that later on she was secretly meeting in Aurum Alley.
Wanna go take some pictures? Or maybe we can go drink some Immortal's Delight.
There you are. Come on. Let's go to the ceremony together.
Let's go! Argenti?
Please allow me to offer a sincere compliment, my fair lady. Your beauty is as pure as a snow-white iris. Well, if it isn't my dear friend, glad to meet you again.
For those who don't know, Argenti's VA has swapped over. I believe it's Talon Warburton that does the voice now. I believe I mentioned that in a previous stream, even.
Who is this weirdo? Who is this knight?
I am Argenti, a member of the Knights of Beauty. I was invited as a part of the Kalevala delegation to escort the legendary Mieka Kivesa back to the Cienjo.
You are fucking everywhere.
May I have the honor of knowing your name?
My name is Yunli.
What a beautiful name. I wonder if you have ever heard the holy name of the pure and flawless goddess Adrilla.
Oh, you're here, Yunli. Didn't expect you to be so well informed. Well, now that you're here, don't forget your manners.
Manners. Come on. You won't find another granddaughter as polite and well-behaved as me.
I beg to differ. In fact, I might make some phone calls later.
Well, just remember this is a very serious ceremony. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Pavo. Now, let the sword gifting ceremony begin.
Before the ceremony officially commences, I want to express my gratitude to the Knight Argenti. Thank you for enlightening us about the sword's origin, and for escorting it here safely so that we may complete this ceremony.
So it was Argenti that told them. Visitor from afar, indeed.
On behalf of the Kalevalan delegation, I, Pavel Kalistaya, am here to return the legendary Mieka Kifesa to the Cienjo Alliance.
Okay, the Alliance, not the Lafu specifically.
I'm truly grateful for Kalevala's noble act of returning the sword and for the Knight of Beauty's chivalry. Now, as we gather here on the Cienjo Lafu, I officially welcome the sword back to its homeland. Mieka Kivesa. It's a fitting name for a sword with such a legendary past.
I'm really curious to learn more about its past before it was on Kalevala. I've already forgotten the name of the planet.
I still remember the name engraved on this sword the day it was forged. Guian.
Oh.
It was forged by Han Guang, a craftsman from the Zhu Ming's Pyrogyre Forge.
Pyrogyre Forge. The Flame Wheel Quinn.
Wait.
Hang on. What'd I miss? Oh yes, Flame Wheel Octet.
Although its blade is worn and cracked, its essence remains as resilient as the Xianzhou Cloud Knights. All it needs is some repairs and polishing by the skilled craftsmen of the Artisanship Commission to regain its former glory. I've decided to entrust this sword, Gu Yin, to the Lawfu Artisanship Commission for restoration. Furthermore, it will serve as the prize for the champion of the Lawfu War Dance. This sword will be wielded against abominations to protect our homeland and live up to the mission of the Kalevalan delegation that returned it from so far away.
Now that I think about it, we actually saw this sword. If this is the same sword we saw in the Trailblaze Continuance, we've already seen what it looks like restored, or the box at least.
Thank you, General. It is an honor for Kalevala.
Why did the camera focus on Argenti there?
Now, esteemed knight and delegation members, please head to the Artisanship Commission, where...
No! This sword was forged by Hongguang.
Yunli! These esteemed guests have brought back your father's last work. Where are your manners?
Oh, I didn't realize this sword was actually forged by your father. Returning it to its rightful owner is,
Grandpa, give me that cursed sword right now. I'll melt away the remnants of that man's curse once and for all.
Calm down, Yunli. Maybe I shouldn't react. Maybe I shouldn't react.
Don't be rude, Yunli. Apologize to our esteemed guests from afar.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making a scene. But I have to melt down this cursed sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands.
Are you just assuming it's cursed because your dad made it? There's some story there that I'm pretty sure we're going to get elaborated.
Yunli, please, go for now.
This is also probably why you were not told to be here. Ooh, Argenti.
This is exactly why I didn't want Yunli to know about this. I didn't want to create trouble, but trouble found its way here anyway. Perhaps it really is divine intervention. Could you, please, keep an eye on Yunli for me?
Anything you say, old man. Sure. I'll make sure she doesn't get into trouble.
It's a tall order, but I'm counting on you.
I hope Hua Yan becomes playable.
I
Pretty sure he's going to be
apologize for the
playable.
Unfortunate interruption. Let us move on with the ceremony.
Fervent plea of Hua Yan, you temporarily depart from the Palace of Aurum in pursuit of Yunli. Alright, wonder where she went.
Unless I'm mistaken, Yunli should be around here somewhere.
Oh, she's right there. I'm an idiot. Observe a bit more.
Stop watching me and say something.
Poor thing. Are you crying?
If you want, I can make you cry too.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
Did Grandpa send you to look for me?
Yes.
I bet he did.
Oh, so now you're a mind reader.
Just so you know, I'm here just waiting for the perfect moment to snatch that sword. And once I have it, I'll melt it down before anyone can react. Don't even think about stopping me. No one can stop me.
No one can help you if you don't explain what's going on. You think I'm just gonna let you cause trouble?
You do have some skill. But now is not a good time to try to stop me. Have you heard of cursed swords? That sword is one.
Do you have proof? It's in a box. So it's a sword that's been cursed, or is it a sacred sword that's been corrupted?
Literally. A cursed sword lets anyone, even a complete novice, wield it with insane skill. Just by holding the hilt, even the weakest rookie can brandish it with incredible speed and strength.
With something like that, March 7th could graduate in just one day.
I'm not joking around. And I'm not making up some crazy story.
Oh, I believe you. I just don't know if you have any proof that this sword specifically is cursed. I'm gonna reset my audio real quick. Testing. Okay, I think the audio should be fine.
While a cursed sword grants instant abilities to its wielder, it comes at a cost. It's like continuously adding fuel to the forge. With each swing, the sword drains the wielder's blood and essence. Day by day, the fuel will run out, leaving nothing but an empty husk. Soon enough, it will no longer be a person wielding a sword, but a mindless, killing machine, consumed by bloodlust and murderous thoughts.
Sounds oddly familiar. So it's like being possessed by a heliobus?
Oh, so you're familiar with Heliobi. That makes this much easier to explain. There was a lunatic swordsmith who infused metal blades with Heliobi, as he was obsessed with turning weapons into living things. And this is how cursed swords were made.
So Guyun is one of those cursed swords.
I know. I shouldn't have caused a scene at the sword gifting ceremony. But I've thought this through. If I don't make a fuss now, that cursed sword will cause a whole lot more trouble. So it's better if it's me causing the trouble.
I mean, Heliobi aren't inherently evil. So, you still haven't convinced me that the sword needs to be destroyed yet.
By the way, aren't they supposed to be taking the sword to the Artisanship Commission for repairs? Why haven't they come out yet? Any ideas?
Maybe there are other ways out of the Palace of Aurum? Yeah, there might be.
Looks like they're not going to show up here. I'll just head straight to the Artisanship Commission. It doesn't matter why Grandpa chose that sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands. I'll track down every single sword he forged and melt them down one after another. Just like I've been doing all these years. I have to go now.
I'm following you. You can't stop me.
Is she planning to sneak into the Artisanship Commission and steal that sword? Maybe I should keep an eye on her.
Yes, you should, Cam. And I know just the man to talk to. Master Gongshu! He's the Forge Master here still, right? I think it's 9 o'clock tonight, I believe, when the stream
Artisanship
goes.
Commission is so big. Where could she be?
Just a while ago, a girl came up to me, all fierce and demanding directions. She said she's a member of the Artisanship Commission. Do you know her?
No, she isn't.
No idea who she is. If she really works here, how can she not know her way around?
I know her. She's from Xianxia Zhuming's Artisanship Commission.
Oh, I see. That explains it then.
Explains what? It explains nothing at all.
She said something like, I'm a member of the Artisanship Commission. Where do you keep your precious stuff? I got scared and pointed her toward Master Gongshu's warehouse, where he stores his arumatons.
Nice.
Wait, why did you give her directions? What if she's planning to steal something?
Let's cut to the chase. Where did she go?
Else? Like I said, she was headed straight for the warehouse, where all the valuable arumatons are.
Yeah, that place is filled with Master Gongshu's precious arumatons. I bet they'll give her a hard time.
I'm worried, actually. Wrong button. Why is this screen not working? They're gonna make me go all the way around? Okay.
What are you doing here? Look, if I get into trouble, it's my problem. I don't want to drag you into it.
I don't know, but your grandpa told me to not let you get into trouble. So I'm kind of screwed either way.
Fine. Let's smash these metal cans first. Then we can talk.
Alright. I wonder if it's going to give us that mechanic from the last time we had Yunli on a... Nope. Oh well, would be neat if they could put her in the action order like they did for that Yunli versus Yanqing duel. That was actually a tough battle.
That was the last of them. Thank you for helping me out.
Master Gongshu's going to be pissed, though.
This place is heavily guarded. But there's nothing but arumatons. Where is the arsenal? Seems like not even those craftsmen know where the arsenal is. At this rate, we won't find anything. And Grandpa might take me away before I can do anything. You're not really here to help me. You're here to stop me, right?
Technically, yes.
You have a kind soul.
I can't just stand there and watch you get into trouble.
Soul. But if you want to stop me, you'll have to prove yourself. You probably think I'm being impulsive and unreasonable, right?
Impulsive? Yes. Unreasonable? No. I just feel like you're too obsessed with cursed swords.
No, really. Do I come across that way? Well, I guess I can't deny it.
Now you have a chance to explain yourself.
Seems like you've met a lot of people who don't tell you the whole story.
Yes. More than I can count. Why don't you just tell me everything?
Look. I owe you an explanation. But this isn't the best place to talk. We need to find somewhere else. Let me be clear, though. I'm still pretty riled up. This is just a temporary break.
Cool, let's go to Master Gongshu then.
I already told you about Guyan. The sword that was returned during the ceremony. It's a cursed sword, with a heliobus inside. And Hongguang, the swordsmith who forged it, is my father.
Yes, we have gotten that much pieced together already.
I rarely mention his name to anyone other than Grandpa. Maybe, like you said, I've been avoiding having to talk about him. But as long as my mission to hunt down cursed swords continues, it's impossible to avoid the topic forever.
For some reason, I feel like I can open up to you.
Cool. How about you have a seat then?
Honestly, I don't remember much about him.
Oh, now there's a thumbnail.
All I know is that the Pyrogyre Forge used to be a bustling place, with people from all over coming to get one of his swords. They called him the greatest master craftsman since Yingxing. I didn't catch all the details, but I do remember seeing him forge those amazing swords, while the visitors watched with smiles on their faces. I used to believe that
Okay,
craftsmen brought
I thought the audio
happiness
cut out. Okay.
The swords crafted by the Pyrogyre Forge are famed across the stars. They possess exceptional sharpness and invincibility.
That's a lot for a sword.
With these legendary weapons, even ordinary people can become skilled warriors, capable of overcoming the most formidable opponents. But then, he became obsessed with becoming a famed swordsmith, and started crossing all sorts of lines. He forged cursed swords that should never exist. And all those people who desired those twisted swords started flooding into the palace.
I wonder what Blade has to say about all this. He's used to be a swordsmith too, right?
However, just like Grandpa said, those who excel with the sword will eventually suffer by it.
Ew.
The palace was overrun with visitors from afar.
Oh!
Some left empty-handed. Others got swords that didn't fulfill their desires. And some even resorted to stealing.
That is a contrast.
And in the midst of all the chaos my father created, he ended up being stabbed by one of the swords he forged.
I bet that cursed sword told, "Let the kid watch."
It was so sudden and unexpected. Everything went silent for a moment. All I could hear was the sound of bones breaking and blood pouring out.
I feel bad for Brenna Larson having to voice two characters back to back with dead dads.
I was frozen in place, unable to move. It was only when my mother pushed me away from the deadly swing of the cursed sword that I managed to escape. I don't remember much after that, except for the pounding of my heart and the sound of my own gasps of breath. I could hear the smiths in the Pyrogyre Forge shouting, "Run away, Yunli!" And the screams of agony. My tears wouldn't stop, and I couldn't see anything. I kept gasping for air until I collapsed in a pool of blood. If General Huayan hadn't arrived in time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now.
And that's why I trust him.
After that, General Huayan took me in and treated me like his own granddaughter. To me, he is 100 times better than my sinful father. He taught me forging and swordsmanship. Han Guang paid for his sins, but his troubled legacy must not go unchecked. According to the records, he forged a total of 1,382 Heliobus cursed swords, and 182 of them had unique designs.
That is a lot of swords.
When I joined the Pyrogyre Forge for training, I made a vow to hunt down all those cursed swords. So far, I found 312 of them, and Guyun will be my 313th. Like all the other cursed swords, I'll separate it from the heliobus. Then, I'll melt it down and make it part of the Blade of Forged Remnants. I've said my piece now. Even though it'll be tough for Grandpa, I still have to melt down the sword.
But the delegation calls it the Sword of Heroes. I think you should talk to General Huayan about it.
You're saying, even though Grandpa knew it was a cursed sword, he still chose it to be a prize because he thought it wouldn't cause any trouble?
I think he knows more than you do about this particular sword.
No. No matter how I think about it, something is definitely off. Grandpa didn't tell me anything about the ceremony. He must be hiding something.
Maybe you're making an assumption that every sword that your dad made was a cursed sword, and maybe this one is not the case. Who knows?
Besides, after our argument today, you want me to go back and talk to him now? No way. At least not today. Maybe tomorrow. Somehow, after talking to you, I feel like I've cooled off a bit.
Nice.
Well, I'll have an honest conversation with Grandpa tomorrow. And I won't take any action against Guyun until he gives me his reasons.
Don't forget to apologize to General Huayan.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that in a public place.
I'm also curious if that Argenti is an imposter.
Anyway,
or possibly possessed by a
thank you.
heliobus.
We'll catch up tomorrow.
I should go back to the Palace of Aurum and tell General Huayan what happened at the Artisanship Commission.
And I should make a better team. One that I'm not using for grinding in calyxes.
My granddaughter didn't cause any trouble, did she, young lady?
Alright.
Sorry for all this trouble. Yunli told you quite a bit. Now it's time for this old man to tell my side of the story.
Alright, this is what I've been waiting for. Your side of the story.
Guang was my beloved disciple. A rare genius not seen in the Pyrogyre Forge since Yingxing.
Yingxing is blade, right?
However, talent can sometimes be a curse. He had an unusual fervor for forging, and he dreamed of forging a sword with self-awareness that surpassed that of humans. He believed it would make warriors invincible without any training. According to him, while weapons of mass destruction like Ju-Ming flames and alchemical arrows can destroy many enemies, true victory lies with soldiers who fearlessly fight, ready to lay their lives on the line.
So, weapons of mass destruction, Ju-Ming flames, alchemical arrows, swords and spears are the only two interesting things you haven't mentioned. Is there like a really fancy legendary spear on one of these Ju-Ming ships?
Usually, Xianzhou swordsmiths infuse a basic level of awareness into their swords to make them easier to wield. But even then, soldiers need to experience countless battles to overcome fear and sharpen their instincts. So, by infusing heliobi into swords, he managed
So he thought using heliobi to absorb
to
emotions.
forge weapons that could grant their wielders strength and valor, and even make decisions for them. However, weapons are different from regular tools. They are meant to kill, plain and simple.
True.
After countless battles, all the anger, fear, and bloodlust are soaked up by the heliobi within the swords. The soldiers wielding them not only gain strength, but they also become consumed by the malice, turning them into puppets possessed by the swords. No matter how noble Hongguan's intentions were, those weapons, soaked in blood, turned into cursed swords eventually. Later, Outworlders got wind of what he was doing and encouraged him to keep forging cursed swords. They came up with all sorts of reasons, from taking back their kingdoms to slaying demons. And you know what happened next. That massacre took her parents' lives, and the lives of many craftsmen in the Pyrogyre Forge. Yunli managed to survive, but she couldn't escape the horrors of that day.
She's still young, question mark? It's kind of hard to think about that with you immortal people. That's why you didn't want her to see that sword? Does that sword really contain a heliobus?
Gu Yin is indeed one of the cursed swords forged by Han Guang. Very few swordsmiths could use heliobi as forging material, and Han Guang was one of them. His attempt came at a terrible cost.
When you say that, but it sounds like he made like hundreds of these things.
Yes. I don't want her to spend her whole life trapped under her father's shadow. She doesn't deserve to carry the weight of his mistakes. Despite her vow to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords, fulfilling that vow requires immense effort. Traversing the starry seas in search of the swords is like finding a needle in a haystack.
I don't know, this is like finding a grain of sand in the ocean.
And to reclaim those swords, she has to duel the bloodthirsty wielders, teetering on the edge of life and death. She has taken back over 300 cursed swords, and has suffered the same number of fatal wounds.
Wait, what? She's been fatally injured that many times?
I took her in to give her a chance at a normal childhood, not to send her on a sword-hunting journey. Even if she manages to melt down all the cursed swords one day, what will she do with her life after?
Revenge is a very bloody path, and then once you finish it, then what?
I thought this sword could be an opportunity. I wanted to tell her that her father wasn't all evil, that even the man she resents so much managed to forge a true sword of heroes. I also wanted to find a chance to tell her about the history and origin of this sword, but not during the ceremony. As you saw, it wasn't a good time. I've instructed the Artisanship Commission to keep the sword safe in the arsenal. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the people involved.
I think I'd like to stand guard. Master Gongshu! There's something I want to talk to you about. General Huayan gave the Lafu a sword called Guyun. Don't you worry, General Huayan has already conferred me his instructions. Right, I heard from my apprentices that a young lady with a sword barged into the Artisanship Commission. That's General Huayan's granddaughter, right? Is she here to chat or kidnap me? She's calmed down now. She already promised me she wouldn't take Guyun until we've confirmed the situation. What? She's coming to steal the sword? My nerves can't take that much more of this. The Knighted Beauty just escorted the sword to the Artisanship Commission. It's currently in the armory without a chance of compromise and mishap. Just you relax. When I have time, I want to hear that girl tell me why she wants to steal the blade. Should have gone straight to Master Gongshu from the first place. That's what I wanted to do.
My granddaughter mentioned talking to me tomorrow. I'll be waiting for her. By the way, you watched over her for quite some time. You must be exhausted, aren't you?
Not really. I got a lot of stamina. Pretty lady never... A pretty lady like her never gets tiring.
I'll be counting on you then.
Time to go back and find that class-skipping March 7th.
Oh, now we're finally going back to looking for March 7th.
Please, take good care of Yunli.
Always great to hear a good J. Michael Tatum performance. Alright, leave the Palace of Aurum. Finishing on you to the Express, come face to face March 7th, caught skipping class. Aha! Caught you pink-handed. Sipping milk tea and gossiping, time slipped away unnoticed. The next day has arrived. I am not my March's keeper. You there, Ken? Oh, it's Daho from the Realm Keeping Commission. Are you able to cooperate with us for a bit? Care to come by the Artisan Commission? What's the matter? Something happened to the sword? Whoa, I didn't even say anything. How'd you know? That's correct. The Artisan Commission said that they received a sword yesterday from General Huayan. Today when we checked it, the sword vanished. Anyway, the Realm Keeping Commission is officially conducting investigation and interrogating relevant individuals. I told them to be careful. I even told Mr. Gonshu yesterday to keep careful watch on that sword. Does he know about the current situation? Yeah, he reported the case. Anyway, anyone who attended yesterday's ceremony and lacks a clear alibi will be considered a suspect. The craftsman also mentioned a young girl who broke into the Artisan Commission with a sword in hand. She bears the bulk of the suspicion. Alright, enough chatter. I'll see you at the commission. Alright, let's go talk to Ian St. Clair in person. March! Damn it, we missed her. Anywho, back to the commission. Okay. They kept giving a lot of weird focus on Argenti, so I wonder if he's been possessed. Oh.
All right. Everyone is here. It's time for questioning.
Yunli, I'm sure you understand why the official called you here, right?
Yeah? But I didn't steal the sword.
I can vouch for her.
Now is not the time to use your reputation like that. If we don't recover the sword, we will be breaking our promise to the Lawfu and betraying the delegation. We're counting on you to find the truth, Official Daho.
Yes. It's my duty to thoroughly investigate the case. Even though Yunli is firm in her words, we can't just rely on her testimony.
After everything, the sword still got stolen. They should have given it to me from the beginning.
Just keep quiet.
In this case of Gu Yun's theft, everyone involved seems suspicious to some extent. Miss Yunli is the main suspect. First, during the sword gifting ceremony, Yunli openly expressed her intention to steal the sword. She even mentioned it multiple times. After the ceremony, she broke into the Artisanship Commission and destroyed Arumatons in an attempt to get the sword. Am I right?
Yes.
That's true.
The Realm Keeping Commission inspected the arsenal where Gu Yun was stored, and there were no signs of forced entry through the doors or windows. The only possible entrance or exit was a small window gap, just a few inches wide.
So the sword left on its own. Ah, locked room murder mystery. Wish we had March 7th here.
If March 7th were here, she'd probably jinx it and accidentally reveal who the thief was.
The box containing Gu Yun was opened and the sword went missing. But none of the other swords in the room were touched. Which means...
The suspect knew about the box and the sword.
Well, I do know about the box and the cursed sword.
Exactly. The suspect had a clear motive and took only Gu Yun. So, besides the ceremony participants, only the delegation members had access to the sword.
No sign of a forced entry means that they could have just walked in and taken it. Could it be someone from this delegation took the sword? Could it be that Argenti stole the sword? Could it be a craftsman stole the sword? Could it be that I stole the sword?
In that case, why would they return it to the Xianzhou in the first place?
Maybe they regretted their decision. Not everyone in the delegation had the same agenda.
That makes sense. The delegation, led by the Knight of Beauty, delivered the sword to the Artisanship Commission. The craftsmen who received it testified that they didn't take anything from the arsenal.
Could Argenti have taken the sword?
Master Gongshu checked the work records, and I questioned all the craftsmen and apprentices who were on shift at the time. But I didn't find any suspicious individuals.
Okay.
Argenti? Oh, that Knight of Beauty. He was with the delegation when they handed over the sword to the Artisanship Commission. You might not know, but he's the one who recognized the sword's origin on Kalevala and escorted it back to the Xianzhou. In other words, he's the one who made it possible for the sword to come home. So, he wouldn't have gone through all that trouble to bring it to the Law Fu if he wanted to keep the sword for himself, right?
Makes sense to me. But I'm just trying to rule out possession. Could it be I stole the sword?
So, did you steal it? Then stop.
No, I didn't.
Stop joking around.
I can prove that she came to me after leaving the Artisanship Commission, so she couldn't have stolen the sword.
Why is that even an option to say?
Put it simply, not everyone who's seen the sword has been to the Artisanship Commission. Not everyone who might want the sword has seen it. So, the only remaining suspect is Miss Yunli.
No, the sword could have walked up and got up and left.
Fair enough.
So,
I didn't steal the sword.
well, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
No, this isn't the only remaining possibility.
If you want to prove me wrong, you'd better come up with some solid evidence.
Can she fit through a gap like only a few inches wide? I doubt it. She's not that small.
Let me gather my thoughts. I need to help Yunli clear her name.
Master
Did we miss
Gongshu.
any clues?
Yes, I received your message yesterday and went to the arsenal to check on it. But when I went back this morning, all that was left was the case. I don't know anything else, so asking more questions won't help, I'm afraid. However, as the Master Artisan of the Artisanship Commission, I've got to clarify something. Even though the sword was stolen, this commission is still highly secure.
I believe you, Master Gongshu.
Wait, no. I just remembered. My precious Aurumatons were smashed.
This area is not secure. Thank you, Master Gongshu. Not helpful as always.
If you've found any clues, feel free to tell everyone.
I'd like to talk to the others again. Alright, so we talked to Daoho last. The container used to seal Guyun is indeed a sight to behold. Its beauty is radiant. Perhaps this was the very beauty that has drawn unwanted attention. Regardless, as one of the few pieces of physical evidence left at the scene, you might as well hold traces of the thief. Sword case lock. The locking mechanism nestled within the case remains intact, bearing no marks of external force or tampering.
So, the thief took the sword from the case without picking the lock?
Sword case exterior. Sword case masterfully adorned with metal wire inlays, trace patterns of lotus flowers, subtly proclaiming its origin from the illustrious Sanzhou Ming. You notice a few smears of red along the bottom of the sword case's interior. It's hard to ignore, as if a deliberate declaration of the existence of those viewing the sword case. Extract the red coloring from the interior of the sword case. A few petals teetering in the brink of withering. More precisely, a single rose petal.
Why is this flower petal inside the case?
You close the sword case and put it back. Wow, they're really trying to make you think it was Argenti, huh? He's also the only one not here.
Who could have thought that the Miekaki vesa would be stolen? And that the prime suspect is General Huayan's granddaughter? Regardless, we've accomplished our mission, and now it's the Xianzhou's problem. By the way, why did that girl call it a cursed sword? It's quite upsetting.
Because the sword can take over the wielder's mind.
That's enough, young lady. Let me get something straight. On Kalevala, this sword has always been highly revered. The first master of the Mieka Kivesa slew countless demons and then passed it down to a line of wise monarchs. The monarchs would heed the guidance of the hero spirits within the sword and gain insight into defeating their enemies.
That just means that there can... Was that actually the voice of a Heliobus?
What is, Helio? What? Never mind. The point is that the Mieka Kivesa did help the ancestors of Kalevala build a strong foundation. It's definitely not a cursed sword.
I'm technically on Pavo's side, to be honest. I like the idea that the Heliobus was helpful. I mean, Tail is still kind of helpful. If it not for Tail, we would have never got Scott's backstory.
I don't want to make things difficult for official Dahao. Let's do this his way.
Oh, is that how you pronounce his name?
Prove my innocence. If I can find that cursed sword, I can prove my innocence right away.
If you can find that cursed sword, that actually makes you look more guilty. No, that would make it look like you did steal it.
There's something else bothering me.
I like that that was actually an option.
Why did the thief take the sword? Leave the case behind. Did they melt down the sword like I wanted to?
Maybe the case was too much trouble?
Yeah. Maybe. But if the case was too much trouble, wouldn't it be too conspicuous to carry around the sword like that? In plain sight?
True. Alright, Hoyan.
Yunli says she didn't steal the sword, and I am willing to believe her. But I know well that Yunli can be impulsive. So if she did steal the sword on a whim, I won't show her any favors. You were with Yunli yesterday, young lady, so you have the best chance to prove her innocence. Is there anything you need to ask me?
Details on the sword would be helpful. Did she come to you afterward?
No, she was still mad at me, so she didn't come by. If she had come with you, she wouldn't be a suspect right now.
How was the sword delivered?
After the ceremony, Argenti carried the sword case, and together with the delegation, they were escorted by the Cloud Knights to the Artisanship Commission. The artisan there confirmed that the sword was safely stored.
Did they ever confirm that the sword was ever in the case?
I'm counting on you, then.
If you found any clues.
I'm 100% sure Yunli didn't steal the sword.
But I'm not sure if I can convince Mr. Dahao.
Man, you could whisper really loudly from all the way over there.
100% sure. Fine. Let me go through my reasoning again, and you can interrupt if anything feels off.
Ooh, we're gonna get to use the debate mechanic from Aurum? Yeah! Gamer lean time.
There was only one suspect who broke into the Artisanship Commission, and that was Miss Yunli.
Okay.
Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission, trying to take away Guyun. But you stopped her in her tracks. After bidding farewell to you, Yunli pretended to leave, but snuck into the arsenal alone and stole Guyun.
On second thought, maybe let me think about it.
Take your time. After bidding farewell to you, we haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
There we go.
I found this in the crevice at the bottom of the case.
A rose petal?
To be fair, though, Argenti could have put the rose petal there at any point before it even got to this planet.
But why was there a petal inside the case?
I don't know. But I do know that wherever that Knight of Beauty goes, he always leaves behind a trail of rose petals that's almost impossible to clean up.
Which means they could have just gotten into the case before the sword was put in it.
My thoughts are a mess. Let me sort them out. The sword case was never locked, which is evidence that only someone who delivered the sword could have done that. And the rose petal was probably left behind by that Knight of Beauty. But how did he manage to take the sword from the Artisanship Commission? Why did he steal it after returning it here? And why would he leave that petal in the case?
There was actually 2 petals in the case.
I know.
How am I supposed to know?
Guyun flew out of the case on its own. The Knight of Beauty only unlocked the box to aid its escape.
Wow, that was what I said earlier.
Don't be ridiculous. How can a sword escape from a case on its own?
You've never seen a flying sword before?
I've only heard about the Mieka Kifesa being able to fly in legends. But even if it could fly, why would the Knight of Beauty do this?
The Knights of Beauty wish to preserve everything, the beauty in all things.
Like I said, the sword contains a heliobus. Argenti must have been under the control of the sword. Maybe he was under its control even before you arrived on the Lofu.
Oh, great. Am I going to have to fight Argenti at the end of this quest again?
Official Dahao, where can we find that knight?
Let me see.
The one and
the
only.
docking location of Argenti's ship. The one and only.
Let's go. We've got to find Argenti before that sword completely takes over his mind.
We're just going to leave this here. A sword casket provided with the streaming. Yep, alright. To a star skiff. Where are we going? Starskiff Haven. That's like the frickin' entrance to Cloudford.
Wanna go take some pictures?
Okay.
Or maybe we can go drink some Immortal's Delight.
Okay, this way.
Success and failure. You can't change
Peach
it.
blossoms and divine.
I commend.
Let's wait and see.
Watch this.
In a corner of Starskiff, you stumble across the knight clad in shimmering silver armor, or rather, he... Oh! Cutscene. 15th day of month X, 1604. He's just standing there. Menacingly.
I've been waiting for you here for quite a while.
Knight of Beauty. You're the one who stole Guyun, right? Hand it over. You have no idea how dangerous that cursed sword is.
Dangerous? In my humble opinion, the real danger is always the hand wielding the weapon.
Good counterpoint. So you intentionally left the rose petal behind?
Yes, I did. As a Drilla's knight, I've sworn to live in poverty, and I abhor theft. I had to leave behind a rose petal in order to keep my promise to Master Guyun and uphold my knightly oath.
What? You made a promise to the sword?
What? What do you mean?
I agreed to assist Master Guyun in its escape from the Xianzhou. As the person who pulled it from the stone monument, captivated by its beauty, I must not let it down.
Wait, you pulled it from the stone on the planet? Oh my god.
I couldn't stay in the arsenal to convince the craftsman, nor did I want to take the sword like a thief. That's why I left behind a small piece of evidence that pointed to my identity in the hope of an open and honest conversation with you.
Whatever your reasons are, you're planning to take the cursed sword away from the Xianzhou. Hand it over to me.
It's starting to sound like the sword negotiated with him. It doesn't sound like he's possessed to me.
Back then, it was the beauty of Master Guyun that impressed me. So I willingly embarked on the journey to return the sword. But unfortunately, Master Guyon's homeland is no longer the ideal place for it to return to. As a Knight of Beauty, I must not abandon it halfway.
Oh no. He's completely captivated by the power of that cursed sword.
Is he? How can we snap him out of it?
The solution is right in your hand.
The bat?
Captivated? No, I am touched by Master Guyon's flawless beauty. To be honest, I'm confused why none of you can understand this sword. This is quite heartrending. I've already made up my mind to take Master Guyon away from this Yenjo.
That cursed sword has messed with your ability to think.
I'm gonna need stronger evidence than this, Yunli, personally.
I'll shatter its illusion. And the sword itself.
Fair lady, if you're intent on taking away this person, this sword that is under my protection, please engage me with a fair duel according to knightly etiquette. As a representative of this duel, I, Argenti, challenge you.
Great. A representative?
I swear on the spirit of chivalry, in front of Adrilla the Beauty, that I will represent Master Guyon in this duel. If I win, you will allow Master Guyon to leave the Xianzhou with me. And if you best me, Miss Yunli, I'll accept my defeat and turn Master Guyon over to you.
He's referring to the sword as Master Guyon.
Do you accept my challenge, Miss Yunli?
Fine. Let's see whose desire is stronger. Your desire to take it away, or my desire to hunt down all cursed swords.
Can we talk about, like, power scaling real quick? About how crazy strong, like, Argenti is, just with his feats alone? Like, he's defeating Swarm Kings. Casually.
Show me what you've got.
Alright. Argenti boss fight.
You're not going to use Guyon to fight for victory?
Well, I know a thing or two about swordplay. In a proper duel like this, a knight should rely on the skills he's honed day and night.
You're a real weirdo.
That's mean.
Let's play. Can you find the answer?
Show no mercy.
Oh, I have the wrong team for fighting Argenti.
Come. It's pitiless for chivalry.
For chivalry. Alright.
I've lost. According to the rules of a knight's duel.
I'm probably gonna edit a chunk of that out.
And hand over the sword to you. But before I do that, I hope that you, as the winner, might have the mercy and listen to Master Guyon's past experiences.
This sword has been cursed since the day it was forged. Place it in front of me, and let me destroy it.
Do what she says, knight.
But...
You've done so much for me already. It's time for me to face her alone.
Argenti draws forth the ancient sword, scarred from countless battles. Before all eyes, the blade rises slowly.
Weary of fighting. I just want to share my past with you. To explain why I wanted to escape.
It's old and cracked.
After that, I'll leave my destiny in your hands. Are you afraid to witness my past, little girl?
Afraid? Well, you do have a different aura from other cursed swords. But you're just trying to use my curiosity to lure me in.
Well, you know best that a single touch won't snatch away anyone's sanity.
I think it's worth a shot.
Fine. Show me your past.
Oh, hang on. Touch the sword. Knight understands the rules of the knightly duels. He ceases arguing and instead eagerly waits for you and Yunli to listen to Guyun's past. I love Argenti. Maybe I should have pulled for Argenti.
It's already impossible to contact the main Cloud Knight forces. What awaits me will be a long and lonely war.
Follow me.
Oh, great. We're in Epilogue.
Is this your memory?
He's not cracked anymore. Big sword.
Intercepting sword technique.
It's so cold here. I didn't feel it when I was in the thick of battle, but now it's freezing me to the bone. You're indeed a masterpiece from the Xianzhou Juming. If you hadn't taken control of my body, I probably would have been decapitated in that fight.
Quiet, and stay alert. Borisin wolf troopers never give up the hunt.
Hey, just relax a bit. It's been over 300 days since we were both stranded on this planet. The transmitter never rings, so I guess we can't count on that anymore. The people on this planet still use beasts to pull their carts. Obviously, there's no way they can help us fix the star skiff. Looks like we're stranded on this forsaken planet for the rest of our lives.
Alright, so they were star-wrecked on the planet.
The rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. Are you feeling any desperation? All by yourself in this hostile world?
Yeah, a bit. Perhaps.
When things get too rough for you to handle, just leave everything to me. No need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, sure. If I really can't handle things anymore, I'll leave my body to you.
That's right, they get the Mara sickness if they live too long.
But now is not that time.
Do you really think you can oppose an entire Borisin army with your limited skills? What are you holding out for?
It's true that I'm stranded here, but it seems like that Borisin pack is in the same boat. By the way, Guyun, do you know what a seed is? A seed may seem insignificant,
but with careful cultivation and time, it can grow into an unwavering tree.
Huge, unwavering tree. You said that the rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. You're right.
They live to be like 1,000
That's
before they
why
get
I
Mars
intend to
sickness or
plant
so.
a seed named Resistance here, and nurture it for the rest of my life. I want to show the people of this land how to defend themselves against those monsters. I can already see the seed in the eyes of those people.
You really think you can do it? Why not just give me control, and we can revel in the bloodbath together?
What was the memory I just saw?
The first wielder.
It was a memory of me and a Cloud Knight. Stranded on an unfamiliar planet. We crash-landed on a planet occupied by Borisin. Just the two of us.
I can feel that it was a lonely war.
Alright.
I'm alive. But all the young people in the village...
They died. They died for you. They died because of your big promises. Promising them a life free from the Borisin. I tasted their despair before death. They didn't see it coming. And neither will you.
We can't stay here. Let's move on to the next village.
Why? What's the point? You and your sorry excuse for an army have been fighting for over 3 decades, and you haven't won a single battle. What you're sowing is not resistance, but despair.
Progress.
This world is hopeless. It's completely infested with packs of Borisin. You've seen their numbers, and you know their methods. And those commoners you've put your hopes in, they just kneel down and worship the monsters devouring their children and families, calling them their Beastmasters. You beheaded one of the Beastmasters for their sake, but they turned on you because they were scared of the Borisin taking revenge. You remember all that, right?
Kind of wish we saw that, to be honest.
I
Even if it was just a
do.
CG, I would have liked to have seen that.
I remember my first death. The Borisin cut off my head.
You can live through being Zansho natives can live through having their head cut off? Death is weird on the Zansho.
But I also remember that if it weren't for a brave youngster who risked his neck to reattach my head and give me a proper burial, I would have disappeared completely. I remember everything the people did for me.
Zansho people are weird.
At the entrance of my cave, fixed my fur coat, and some even joined my resistance. The rest of the Xianzhou native's life is still terribly long, and there will be new youngsters who will stand beside me in battle. Time is on our side.
You said it was a lonely war. No. It wasn't a war filled with loneliness, but with despair. So much despair that I don't want to ever taste it again.
It just keeps going.
I'm leaving.
Where are you going, Your Highness?
This is being undercut only slightly by the fact that we're very clearly just outside of Belobog.
I'm returning to my homeland. A distant place beyond the sky. I'm not coming back.
But what should we do with you gone? What if those wolf demons show up again?
Oh, he beat them?
They won't.
I mean, I guess we knew that already.
You've wiped out the last of them. But before I go, I need you to do one thing for me. Even though the wolf demons are gone, new monsters will appear in this world. Soon, a demon will appear, donning golden branches and knowing only bloodshed. However, fear not, my children. I'm entrusting you with this sword that's been with me in countless battles. Use the skills I've taught you over the years, and you'll surely defeat that last demon. But that's not all.
So he's Mara-struck already.
I need you to construct a stone.
Granted, I don't know what the timeline of events here is. This could be like 1,000 years.
Sturdy enough to seal the remains of that demon forever. This is a debt you owe me, and you must fulfill it. Do you understand?
You lied to them. And you lied to me, too.
Oh?
You promised that you'd give your body to me when you couldn't handle things anymore.
Well, this Xianzhou native's life has finally come to an end, my old friend. How about one last chance for revenge? Come and bid me farewell for the final time.
He had long since come to some understanding. I could sense a mix of intricate emotions flowing out.
I actually side with a lot of the Heliobi, to be honest. After going through like all the side quests in the Fixtral Garden and the Tale of the Haunted and whatnot, most of the Heliobi are just people in my eyes.
wasn't blood.
Not evil spirits.
Or anger or fear.
Just another form of life.
What he had left for you was hope.
They've learned how to fight monsters. But there's still one last monster lingering in the world. Kill it, my old friend. He left me there without ever looking back.
They just keep teleporting us back to this little stretch. We keep running to this one same stretch of snow.
Thank you, my old friend. Heliobi can taste human emotions. How do my emotions taste? My old friend.
Bitter and melancholic.
A hint of bitter compassion and a touch of scalding courage. Your heart's deepest desire is to end war once and for all. Now, the war is finally over. Can you hear? Even though you can't hear me anymore, my old friend, I'll do everything I can to bring an end to all conflicts in this world.
So, this is the past of the Kalevalan people's Sword of Heroes? You helped the people of that world bring an end to war?
This is why Hua Yan wanted you to hear this story, Yunli.
No, I did not. I am a weapon, and I only became the cause of more conflicts. Countless monarchs of Kalevala saw me as a symbol of kingship endowed by nature, and they waged wars in order to possess me. I grew tired of their wicked intentions. I didn't want to kill for anyone anymore. So I returned to the stone monument where my master was buried. And since then, no one was able to remove me from it.
But you allowed Argenti to take you away?
Because even after all this time, I still wanted my master to come home.
Okay. Ooh, stone monument time. Gold branches.
During the sword gifting ceremony, I felt anguish when I learned that I would be handed over to the most skilled swordmaster and once again become a tool for killing.
I see.
My master had engraved his deepest desire into my blade. End war. As a weapon, my purpose was predetermined from the start. I had to become a deadly sword that would relentlessly hack and kill. But once I fulfilled my mission, would I have the right to choose my own destiny like he did? So, I asked the Knight of Beauty to help me break free from this never-ending cycle of bloodshed.
These thousands of years have naturally turned into memories of mine. I think I understand the beauty the knight was talking about now.
How old are you again? Because you would have been alive to see the. Then again, I don't know how long you would have been alive. How many years alive you would have been to see swords get made by your dad? God, Xancho natives are weird.
I don't want to be a sword that brings death. My war ended long ago. The years spent as a tombstone were my finest.
Ooh. Oh, that line. Oh, that line hits hard. That goes so hard.
I've told you everything about my experience with Master Guhian on Kalevala. And now, I'm sure that Miss Yunli is as moved by the sword's flawless beauty as I was back then.
Even though I had heard the legends of this sword from the delegation, delving into its memories was still fascinating. Yunli, I trust Gu Yin's experiences have changed your mind.
I had no idea that this sword had such a past. General Huayan had said this sword would change you.
That's why Grandpa hid it from me. So I wouldn't make a hasty decision. I always thought a cursed sword infused with a heliobus would only bring rage and slaughter. I never thought someone could leave behind the desire to end war, and even change the nature of the cursed sword. My position was too extreme. Guyan is truly a sword of heroes. I apologize to all of you for my behavior.
Thank you. I accept your apology.
Now that we've proven Miss Yunli's innocence and found the sword, should we now return it to the arsenal?
That is a good question, Daho.
No. I'm still going to melt down this sword.
God damn it.
I've heard your true desires, Guyan. I can sense that you're tired of being a sword. Constantly serving new masters and fighting battles you no longer want to be part of. Right?
She did say that she could separate the heliobus from the sword.
But being a sword is my destiny. I'm doomed to serve some master and fight battles endlessly. Can the wind choose to stop blowing?
Maybe.
Can a cloud choose to stop drifting?
Possibly.
No. It's the same for me. A creation with a predetermined destiny.
I don't know, you could be a wall hanger.
That's not true, Guyan. That nameless sword master shaped his own destiny. So you can too.
I just can't picture.
Hell, you spent centuries as a tombstone.
Other than that of a sword.
Do you remember when you stood alone in front of the Swordmaster's stone monument? People admired you because you carried the memories of the hero. You were no longer a sword. You were a memorial.
Yeah.
Later, as I became worn and weathered, the gentle wind would pass through the hollows of my body, creating melodic tones that echoed in the distant mountains. I became a musical instrument then. I miss those times.
Can a creation become what it wants to be? The answer is yes. I'll grant your wish, Guyan, and transform you into something different.
A flute, perhaps?
Something different.
But this is the price for the war dance. If the Kalevalan delegation finds out... Please, say something, General Huayan.
Well, my granddaughter has always been stubborn. Are you really sure about this, Yunli?
What do you all think?
You might as well ask Gunyun's opinion.
Fulfilling Master Guyan's wishes is the reason I came to the Xianzhou. With the driller's blessing, you could turn Master Guyan into a plow. But as long as it fulfills his wish to end war, I support it fully.
Oh, wait, yeah, Swords to Plowshares. That's the name of the mission. That's funny.
Then, I'll leave it to you, Yunli.
Finally, you make your way to the Artisan Pretend Armory, seeking to use their forging furnace.
It's been an honor.
getting to know you
Cutscene.
like this.
The honor is mine. Thank you, Yunli.
Why the long face, my child? Are you feeling regret, perhaps? You were completely determined when melting down the sword. So, why the sudden change of heart?
I still think they could have restored it and made it a wall hanger.
Grandpa, I melted down the prize for the war dance. How are you going to explain this to the lawful?
He's gonna make his own sword.
Oh? Am I hearing right? This little girl is worried about her grandpa. Didn't see that coming.
If only I'd talked to you from the beginning, Grandpa. Maybe things wouldn't have escalated like this. But at least Guyen got what it wanted. I have no regrets there.
What'd you turn it into? Did you actually turn it into a plow? Please tell me you turned it into a flute.
When it comes to swords, you and your father are cut from the same cloth. So, are you planning to continue melting down the rest of Hongguang's swords?
Yeah. Guyen is unique. But the other cursed swords are still too dangerous for anyone to handle.
I don't think Gu Yun was unique.
But maybe I'll try to be more patient next time.
Be more patient. Well said. Remember what you learned today, because there will be many more situations in the future that will require you to be more patient.
I'm glad she learned something out of all this, at least.
Understood. But what about the prize?
He's gonna come out of retirement and make his own sword.
Well, ever since you showed up at the ceremony, I had a hunch. So I prepared another sword as a backup plan. And don't worry, this one has nothing to do with Heliobi.
That's perfect.
By the way, the ambassador from Kalevala and that knight went to Aurum Alley. They're looking for a spot to honor the hero. Why don't we go take a look together?
Let's go. Sounds fun. Swords to Plowshares. Is that the antique store? No, it's not.
Oh, General Huayan. What brings you here?
Well, my granddaughter was inspired by the heroic legends told by the Mieka Kivesa, so she dragged me here to take a look.
What's this golden sapling?
I come from a long line of Kalevalan monument keepers. For generations, my family has guarded the stone monument left behind by the nameless hero. Over the centuries, a golden tree sprouted from under the monument, and its branches have never withered. We Kalevalans see it as proof of the hero's existence.
It's Mara.
Before leaving Kalevala, I took a branch from that golden tree, hoping to plant it here to represent the hero returning to his homeland.
That sounds good. We Xianzhou people don't make coffins or set up memorials, so I'm sure he would be happy to rest here where life is bustling.
The hero had asked our ancestors to carve something into the monument, so I made a copy of it too. While the inscription is pretty worn with age, perhaps you can still make out some of it.
I have drifted far from my homeland and am on the brink of death. Yet, I take solace in having honorably fulfilled my duties.
What a guy.
Should you feel compassion for me, kind traveler, please take a handful of soil hence and bring it back to the lawful. Mr. Pavo, I wonder if that hero ever left a name in your history.
I apologize. But the hero's epic battles happened long ago, and he did not leave any name for us to call him. But in our mythology, he came from the heavens, and so we call him the Cloud Knight.
Interesting.
Welcome home, Cloud Knight.
Now, you can also rest here, Guyan.
A guyun is a type of instrument, isn't it? Swords to plowshares. Sword and stone, soul and sky.
As a punishment for being an accomplice in this theft, General Huayan assigned me to guard this golden sapling and recite the story of the hero and this legendary sword to passers-by. This is not a punishment at all, and I gladly accepted it. Spreading the message of beauty to the Xianzhou residents is exactly what I desire. However, I plan to leave the Xianzhou soon and continue my travels. May our paths cross again in the vast cosmos, my dear friend.
I'm 100% sure it will happen. We're probably going to run into you on Belobog next.
Now that my mission is accomplished, the delegation will be leaving the Xianzhou Luofu
I would have put this tree in a different spot in Aurum Alley, to be honest.
The experiences here will become an epilogue to the hero stories. This golden sapling will become a part of the everyday scenery of the Xianzhou. I believe it's what he would have wanted.
And he's gone. An unassuming ancient Guyun. Its body and strings appear to be crafted from a unique kind of metal. Even without a human's touch, it occasionally bursts out notes, as if humming an untuned melody for someone unseen.
I'm feeling a bit emotional. I'd like to stay here for a while. Thank you for your guidance. I'm truly grateful. By any chance, would you be interested in taking sword lessons with me? Like March?
Sure. Maybe not. I have my baseball bat. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't think I can endure the hardship.
Thank you.
I already have my bat. Outworld Traveling Munition. Well, this was indeed a very emotional experience. And I guess next time we stream, we'll do this snapshot event, whatever that is. It's only going to be around here for a few more days. So maybe we'll do that Saturday afternoon. Who knows? That being said, let's let me just check. I want to check something. Let's refresh the page. So the 5.0 premiere is still going. So I don't want to do any live reaction to that. But if they ever update the videos, maybe I'll put out a reaction to that soon. It'll probably come out before this actually comes out. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I'll see you all in the next stream. Sooner, probably, than later. Ta-ta for now.